And we're back. Thomas kind of delayed there on the entry, and not where we thought we were going to be, where we announced all week for the Dubai World Cup and the Grand National. But we do have a Grand National of sorts today.
Well, I need to learn to read a calendar correctly. But guess what next week is?
Know. At the end of the show, I don't even have to ask you, what are we doing next week like I normally do. I already know. Grand National and Dubai World Cup. And that's, of course, it's an error-filled calendar.
Yeah. Well, this time I looked carefully. I even took the entries that are for the Dubai racing. So, yeah. I hope I got it right now.
I hope you got it right too. I'm all week. Yeah, I can't wait.
They could have done Maidan last weekend. They had the Guineas and a couple other decent races, so it's not like it would have been a bad choice. But I switched to Doncaster because it opens the British racing season, so to speak, and of course we've got some decent sized fields.
Yeah, 22 horses.
Big races is the Heritage race, which is the Lincoln.
A lot of horses, a lot of horses to cover too. Free picks today, guaranteed tip sheet, free picks every day. Today's free picks are at Penn National for Friday night racing. So Friday night lights, as they used to, Texas football. So this is Pennsylvania, Texas horse racing, Friday night lights. Of course, tomorrow, Tom, a huge day in thoroughbred racing here in the U.S. We got the Arkansas and the Florida Derbies. And interesting, I think both of them are key prep races. If my memory serves, I think 6 of the last 9 Kentucky Derby winners, maybe 6 out of 8 if you toss out the COVID year, either ran in the Arkansas Derby or Florida Derby as their final prep race. So you want to know who the strongest chance is to get the Kentucky Derby winner, it'll be probably one of those 2 races tomorrow.
I wouldn't be surprised if Godolphin. They seem to have some really good 3-year-olds in this country right now.
Well, we'll get a good glimpse of it tomorrow. Our wagering guide for the Florida Derby side, 10 races at Gulfstream Park. Oh, my Lord, I was up to 2:30 in the morning. Had to get up to get prepped for this. I am the James Brown of horse racing. Hardest working man.
You can't say you didn't try.
Yeah, indeed. And when the show's over, a little bit later on, I'll post our Tom's picks, my picks, our thoughts, our analysis, along with a race replay right here on horseracingtoday.net. While you're at the site, please click that HRT gear. Come on over here, get yourself a trucker hat. Even if you're not a trucker, you'll look fantastic cosplaying as one with the Horse Racing Today logo right on the front there. We'd greatly appreciate it. It would help support the show. It also helps support the show if we do our job, Thomas, and that's find winners. We're going to do Doncaster starting in race number 2, and there are 22 runners on this race with the maximum of 22. The going is good to soft, so I don't know what the weather's like there, Tom. Is it expected to get firmer or softer?
I would say probably I would err on the softer side. I know they had rain earlier this week, so. But this if it was a little bit too good to soft, that's not so bad either.
No, not too bad. Well, the 22 horses, they're going to run 1 mile. And if you look at the 1 mile, they're going to go right down this straightaway there, Thomas, all the way to the finish line. With this 1 mile run, is this one of these Moses runs where the C parts, or they all just kind of dart down and see if they can get there first?
Big of a field. Well, the gate is set center, but I think they'll split off. And really, again, it goes to what we've talked about on this track, on many of these English tracks, because they do have the undulations and whatever. What's the best path to get home?
So keep an eye maybe on the first race filled with a bunch of maidens to see what the best path might be on that straightaway. Well, Tom, I know you've drawn your lines. You've picked your path. I don't think post-position draw really means a whole lot unless there is some advantage on either edge of the track or even in the middle. That being said,
there tends to be a little bias, sometimes a little bias, especially at Doncaster. But I would say, again, depends on the track.
So with 22 horses, how many did you pick?
I only went with 3.
All right. Well, who's the first one in that group?
I'd start with number 5, Ocean of Dreams. It's the lightest raced horse in this race. Has 3 starts. And with that, in 2000, it's stretched out to those races. One in 2003. I'm sorry, 2023 at Leopardstown in a maiden race, and that was on the heavy going. Last year they put it in a group race, and it was last of 5 by way too many lengths. And then in June it raced and ran second. Yeah, and went off the favorite in that race, which was curious. The big thing here was that this is Holly Doyle's only mount of the day, at least I could find. And she doesn't do a lot of riding for Archie Watson. So, and look at the odds. I mean, somebody likes it. If it wasn't, it'd be 150 to 1.
For sure.
And especially in a 22 horse field. Now I'm going to go number 7 next. Double R's Dream is my next choice.
So you like horses with the name Dream in them for this race?
Well, I'm dreaming a lot, I guess. Ran last time on the all-weather. Ran 4th. It was a longer distance. He's won at this distance before. I think the distance and conditions suit the track being good to soft. He was recently gelded. The question is this the right level? And the odds kind of reflect that right now. Finally, I'm going to take number 3, Empire State of Mind. Another price horse, I hope. Jason Hart's a decent rider, so we'll see. This one's run 3 times already this year. Best place was a second finish in a Class 3 handicap. He's won at this level at this distance at York. Last race, he struggled at the end but kept going. And to me, I don't know, return to the turf may be what he wants. And the odds have been floating up, but I'm not looking for him to win.
Well, maybe in the grass jungle, he can make dreams come true, and a Yankees hat more popular than a Yankee can, in the reference to the Jay-Z song. All right, I like in this race, this 22 horse field. How do you pick any horses? Well, I'll be honest. I just put them all in a hat and then pulled out numbers, and number 13 came out first. That's not really how I did it, but Shuri Shadow, 14 to 1. This horse has run 4 times. Never a bad race in any of them, and quite frankly, might like getting a little bit of extra distance today. Number 8, Naypoint, 8 to 1. Maybe one of the favorites in that with that guy. If you get an 8 to 1 favorite, that's pretty good.
Yeah, take that every day.
Yeah, he's an all or nothing horse. Either put him at the top of your ticket or just cut him loose, especially at the distance. 5 of them that he's run, 3 of them that he's won. And the only time he ran at Doncaster was a mile, and it was one of those all races. So maybe a horse for the distance and the course. Number 20, Look Back Smiling. Well, maybe we will after we bet this one. This one is making its first start after a layoff. The first up record works. And also another one of those horses that pops or drops at Doncaster, 5 races out, 2 of them ending up in the winners enclosure. And then finally, I'm going to go with number 1, Thunder. Thunder Roar. I mean, if we hit a trifecta here, Tom, we should deserve to get paid a lot. You ever just have a gut feel, Tom, like you're going through the program and like there's something in your mind says, take this one. And you're just like, why would I take this one? All the stuff looks like crap. And your brain keeps saying, take this one. All right. So I listened to my intuition and gut feeling here. The last 2 horse races were horrible for this guy, but a bounce back is coming for this horse, Thunder Roar, because he's run at the Doncaster track 3 times, has a win, and a couple of seconds. So maybe the return to some comfortable footing will be the difference maker. I'll see how much the predictor laughs at my picks right about now, Tom. I think we were at odds with the predictor last week pretty heavily, but I still think we had more winners than the predictor did. Bang! Pearl Eye. Yeah, we don't have that one either. Pharisee Lane, we don't have that one either. Rhythm Master, yeah, I didn't see that one either. Tolstoy, yeah, no. Cynosure, the only one in here is Jay-Z and Alicia Keys with Empire State of Mind. Maybe that one will make your dreams come true. Screw the predictor.
Well, the predictor is just as confused as we are in this race.
Yeah, too many horses to pick from. It broke the algorithm.
Yeah, you get a little more modest field in this one.
Yeah, this one I think is what, 9 races, 9 horses. All right, so a little bit easier to go. 3 horses makes more sense here. This one is 6 furlongs. It's the William Hill Best Odds Guaranteed Cammidge Trophy Stakes. So you're not going to get any better odds anywhere else. It's going to be another one of those straight races down the. So they got 2 6 furlongers. I guess it depends on where they put the starting flag. Oh, 6 furlongs, 110 yards. All right.
Yeah, that's
so 6 furlongs.
Kind of a 6.5 furlong, or not quite 6.5 furlong type race.
Yeah, that extra 110 yards. Pretend they're playing an extra football game and they're going all the way, like Tony Dorr said. So 6 furlongs down there. We'll find out in race number 2 if any part of the track has a bias over the other. And Tom, I would imagine, like most of these races at these European tracks with turf, you probably getting to the front can be useful, but when it's a little bit towards the heavy side, you probably want a little bit more late momentum than forward momentum. Would you say that's true?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And this is a field where we could likely see them bunching up in the center of the course because of the size rather than splitting off, unless somebody's got a horse that they just feel needs to be by itself.
All by myself. That's what the jockey's singing when he peels off.
Yeah.
So who do you got?
I'm going to start with number 2. Witness Stand is my top choice. I'm going to toss the last race out. It was in Bahrain. It was a group race, and it finished dead last, and yeah, it was way overmatched. He's ran at this distance once and placed 3rd, and he's done okay. I mean, he's won on the 7 furlongs on the soft ground. So I think this is an interesting move for the horse. To put it here, I mean, put a good jockey up on it and get a little bit of a price. Well, we'll see. Next one's going to be 3, Al Shabab Storm. First start of the season, it was on the all-weather, ran 3rd. Its wins have come at 6 furlongs on that good to soft going, so he does like that. It's got a race, did okay in it. I'm looking for a pretty good effort here. Finally, I'm going to take, which I think is going to be the favorite, which is number 1, Marshman. Certainly got the back class on him. He is one at this distance. He likes the all-weather. He likes the softer turf. And he's faced competition like Believing and Bradsell last year. Yeah, he's not going to beat those horses. He's not quite that level. But this is a listed race, and he's done okay in these types of races in the past. And I think the distance suits.
I'm going to go a different route. James Delight. When I was going through the program, I felt like this one was the most obvious choice. If you get 5-2, I also wrote down, I think that would be a deal, in my opinion. Iberian, the 4 horse, is next up for me. So between you and me, we have 2, 3, 4, 5. That one should be in a good position. The only time this horse ran at Doncaster, it won. It returned to form in its last race when they put up jockey Jason Watson. So maybe they think he can keep the horse in form, because look who's riding again, Jason Watson. Number 2, a horse we agree on, Thomas, Witness Stand. Resume says a strong effort coming in round 2 off the bench. And then another one we have agreement on, the 1 horse, Marshman. Good form on all weather right now, for sure. You pointed that out. Does have a second by a neck on Doncaster turf. Sometimes I wonder about those surface switches, especially when a horse is performing well on one or the other. But I suppose you mentioned it's coming to season now, so probably a lot of these horses will be moving over to turf.
Well, this is a listed race, so this is a little more in the upper money, or a little better ranking of the horses. So, class 1, it's a decent race. So, and these are obviously horses and owners and trainers who think they may have something could go forward.
Mm-hmm.
being that, and some of these horses have won in group races, so it's not like they're strangers to that company.
Well, let's see if the predictor continues to be a stranger in its projected picks. All right, we got a runaway winner, and it is. Well, you got that one. Al Shabab Storm. Witness Stan Martin. Looks like Tom is going to have an excellent race, whereas I am only going to have, well, I got 2 horses. I might get second and third. My other ones in there don't get any love from the predictor. He and I are, or it and I apparently are at odds, although I whooped it last week. Race 4, next on our itinerary. Race 4 is the William Hill. Apparently, they have a lot of money to spend at Doncaster today. This is the Mile Stakes. They're going to go again 1 mile. We talked about that in the opening leg. All the way to the back of the chute here. Gate's going to open, and they're going to dash. They'll probably part like the Red Sea, as we mentioned before. Keep an eye on race number 2 to see which side might have the edge, because you might want to readjust your picks based upon how much closer your horse is to the faster of the 2 lanes. We don't know which lane that will be, but we do know who you pick first, and you're about to tell us who that is.
Number 3, Dancing Gemini, my top choice. Final race of the year ran at Ascot in the British Championship races. That was a Group 1. It lost to Charlin. So did a lot of other horses last year. And it ran a decent race on a pretty much a little bit of a softer surface. So, it's good. I mean, they put this horse when he was as his 3-year-old, put him in against some really tough horses most of the season. He did place second to Metropolitan in a Group 1 at Longchamp, but that was really, I think, his best effort against the top company. This is a little bit of a down in my mind with him, but I think they're going to see if they've got a solid miler and maybe bigger things to come, and we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Witch Hunter, is going to be my next choice. Participated in this race last year. No, he's run 2 this year, I should say. And he showed little in his first race because he, didn't show anything. He needed the race. Then he missed the break in his second race, used the inside to come up, and he got a second. That was a listed race on the all-weather, so a little different. He's only won 4 times in his career of 37 races, mainly in handicap type races. One of note would be that he won at Royal Ascot at 50-1, because I remember that because I had him. That's the reason I do. But he's placed 10 times in stakes races. Well, this is a listed race, Class 1, so this is interesting. That's why I'm gonna throw him in there. I think other people are interested too at 7-1. Mm-hmm. If he shows up, he's got the right distance, and I think he could make some waves in this race. So I'll put him in there. Finally, I'm going to take number 4, Liberty Lane. I think this one will be the favorite in the race. I would be surprised if it isn't. It's coming in off the layoff. It's done okay off the layoffs in the past. Ran second in its last race, and that was before the layoff, and also won at York at this distance. So he's run well. He ran the Lincoln last year, but they opted for this race, which I find really interesting. I couldn't leave him off.
I started off with the 1-horse Botanical, 3-1 right now. Looks like that one's taking a little bit of love from the bettors too. This horse has done really good work on the grass, 7 times out, in the money, 6 of them. Also likes to giddy up and go after a little bit of rest, which is the case today in the first up. Number 6, Point Linus, not quite sure, but this one ran second in a Group 2 last out. And I think there'll be a chance that this horse will be better today, facing lighter company in race number 2 off the sidelines. Number 7, Savvy Victory. Boy, I'm going for a long shot here, Thomas, leaving 2 of the early favorites off.
Got a nice jockey, though.
James Doyle. James Doyle is got a horse that's had a pair of seconds at Doncaster in 2 races. He's raced twice at the distance with a place and a show. Right track, right distance. You know what else it is, Tom? Right price.
Well, I like the price, yeah.
Yes, and then
that will always inflate your trifecta, your exactas, depending on which.
Yeah, provided he shows up, right?
Yeah, gotta show up.
That doesn't help it if he finishes dead last.
Well, if you're playing for last, it worked. But
too bad they don't have a bet for that. I would probably be just as difficult to pick the winner. But then finally, I had to decide between the 3 and the 4. I felt bad for Dancing Gemini. I didn't know that Tom was going to pick that one because Liberty Lane has a tip. Dancing Gemini does not. Guess what? It has 2 now. Because as you pointed out, Tom, this horse absolutely 1,000% has been facing the stiffest company. Just question if the horse is ready to, sometimes I wonder if those drops in class are really an attempt to find where they fit, or the horse is just not in form and they're just, letting the water out of the tub, and they're going to go down as far as they have to go to find a winner or a buyer. Maybe we'll find out today with Dancing Gemini.
I went the route of thinking they're looking at maybe this one's a top miler. I mean, the last race of the season was a good effort against a very, very good horse.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're trying to figure out what's the optimal distance
versus the optimum level.
Yeah.
Race 5, 2 to go. Hold on, Richard. Hey, wait a minute. Predictor time. All right, what do we got cooking here? Well, another one that's going to win pretty easily, and that's Witch Hunter. Thomas has that one. I do not. But Botanical, Point Linus are right in there, too. Dancing Gemini, Savvy Victory. It looks like this could be a race where I'm in contention. I'm going to watch this one, Thomas. The other ones so far, not.
All right. You like the cavalry charges. That's the next one.
Yeah, actually, I'll be out golfing while all this is going on tomorrow. Here in Chicago, supposed to be nice. Probably a little bit. Just in time for Sundays. What do they say? We're going to get tornadoes and hail and everything. It should be a fun Sunday in Chicago. All right. Race number, this is 5, right? 6?
Hope
5.
so.
I don't know. Let me look and see. We're in race number 5. The William Hill Lincoln Heritage Handicap Class 2. Another one of these 1-mile races. As you already know, they'll start back here. They'll probably break off into groups. And then again, in the earlier 1-mile races, I would pay a little bit of attention to see which side gets the edge over the other. If that's indeed what they do, if they run straight down the middle, maybe you want to look for horses with a middle post. Tom, which horse did you look at as your top choice, and tell me why?
I'm going to start with number 17, Alpha Crucis, my top choice. Since switching trainers, this horse has got 2 wins and really good efforts in his other races. He didn't finish, he was unplaced, but these are 4th and 5ths. They're not back end of the field type of things. Last year they moved him up in class from 4 to 2, and he won. It was at Goodwood on the soft going. And guess what? It was at this distance. They've tried him at longer distances. But 2 of his 4 victories are on the soft going at a mile. I think the mile is the optimum distance, in my opinion, and I think this is a good place to start him for the season. The only thing I'm concerned about is that post position.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that's going to play at this point, so we'll see. Number 19, Oranda is going to be my next choice. One last time out in its debut at the Curragh on soft going, and beat 26 horses. So guess what? Juices some big fields.
Mm-hmm. Either 25 bad ones or she's good.
Well, it came from the back of the field, so to win too. And they switched it over the near side, and that was the winning run. Since August of last year, he's been finished in the money in all 7 of his races. And this is the second start for this trainer. Watch the odds on this one. Well, it'll be interesting because he's coming from the Curragh, and they obviously feel they've got a hot horse, so why not throw him in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I'm going to take number 1. Galeron is my final choice. He's only won twice in his career. Both victories were when he was a 2-year-old. Since then, they've been putting him up against Group Company. He got a few placings in the UK, and then they shipped him to Australia, and he did okay in a few of those handicap races. And now he's back with the trainer that was with him before. And I'm just curious about this one. The draw is okay in the middle there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just think the horse is one of those that you got to throw in. And at the odds, why not?
Yeah, they're both 33-1. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to go with the 4-horse Thunder Run. I guess I'm liking Thunder horses today. This horse has run a half dozen times and really yet to put out a bad effort. And when you have this deep of a field, consistency could be key. And then I'm going to go with number 16, God Wins On. God Wins On. That one, Thomas, runs his best off the bench. So it'll be boom or bust today in the first up. Dashing Darcy. Yes.
I have to go answer the door. I'll be right back.
Apparently they like dancing. The doggy likes dancing Darcy as well. It's another one of those horses that's making its first start after a layoff, and its first up record's pretty solid. Only has one clunker in its last 10 races, so very consistent performer. And then finally, number 2, Old Cock, all or nothing horse, defined absolutely by this horse. 6 races out, 3 of them ending up in the winner's circle, off the board in all of the others, but 2 of those 3 out of the money finishes were 4th. That's it for me. 4, 16, 21, and 22, whilst Tom tends to whomever is at his door. Let's go about looking at what the predictor predicts, and then hopefully by that time, Tom will return.
I'm here.
All right. So here's the horse. This not surprising
from the mail guy.
Not surprising. Nobody has Sean. Did you pick Randy? I think you did, right?
Randy.
Apprentice, no one's got that. Magna Opus, no one's got that. Whip Cracker and Oliver Show. So only one horse from the ones that we picked, Tom, in there. And at least it's a close second.
That kind of race. So it would make sense.
Indeed, it would. So, yeah. So one of those races where if you manage to pick the trifecta, you should just be given the Eclipse Award as the best handicapper on the planet.
You should be entering those contests because you've got the crystal ball to figure these kind of races out. It's almost as crazy as Royal Ascot.
Well, I have entered those contests, and I'm always at the last race. I have a way in, and for some reason, those horses always have some problem in that last race. I'll have to manifest a different start for those horses. Final race for you and I this week. We've already mentioned last week and this week because we're so excited about the Grand National, which is the roller derby / demolition derby of jumping horse race. What is it? 35 horses jumping over 100 fences. And by the end of the race, 2/3 of the horses are jockeyless and still a part of the pack as they come home. Is that about a good description of what will happen?
You're going over 4 miles. So, yeah, let's just say you better have some good stamina.
Yeah, indeed. And you better be able to hang on tight. You'll be off the horse pretty quickly. I've seen a lot.
Yeah, that first 2 jumps usually are eventful, to say the least.
Yes, you see people flying it like popcorn. Again, tomorrow, huge day of racing in the United States with the Arkansas and Florida Derbies. As I mentioned, I think at least 6 out of the last 9 Kentucky Derby winners coming out of one of those 2 races, 3 apiece, if I recall correctly. You can get the Florida Derby wagering guide over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There you go. You see the Cutler Bay Stakes. We put our analysis in there. The horses are going to be on the track, the sort of running style. We've got the play. We have exact trifecta recommendations as well as our order and odds. So you can get that over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet along with free picks every single day. There is a link in the description down below. So again, when the show is over, head on over to horseracingtoday.net. By tomorrow morning, I'll post our picks and our commentary for all of these Doncaster races. There'll also be a video replay. And in the description on YouTube, we will timestamp every race so you can watch them at your leisure. Again, you'll look fantastic in a trucker cap You can get that by clicking HRT Gear to help support the show. Tom and I, Terry and I, and everybody associated with horse racing today would greatly appreciate it. And perhaps if we hit race number 7, we'll give you the means to go buy that trucker hat. Thomas, this one is 1 mile and 2 furlongs, so they're finally going to get away from that straightaway. They're going to go downhill around a pretty big sweeping turn, Thomas, come back around and through. So considering they're going to start on a turn, I would suspect that you probably would prefer inside position over outside position. Is that the case?
Well, let's remember what we're dealing with. The jockeys in this race are all apprentices.
Mm-hmm.
So a little experience may have something help too. So will the best horse win? Not necessarily, because of frankly, the lack of experience. And the last 2 races, this race and the last race, are these amateur racing, and not amateur, but apprentice races. We don't run this kind of races in the States. It would be interesting to do this, where you have some of the younger riders or older riders who are just getting going, and match them up against each other rather than throwing them in against the wolves.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just looking at this. I mean, considering you're starting on a turn, I know it doesn't look like a very dramatic turn, but I think you could very easily, especially in a deep field like this, get caught 7, 8 wide all the way around the track, and that would make it a much longer trip than the horses on the inside. Who do you have to get the best trip, Tom?
I'm going to start with 5, Bashful. He's been running over the hurdles. Last 3 races, he's got a couple wins, and he's got a second. He's won 4 times on the flats, and 5 times over the hurdles. And he's placed in 14 of his races. So there's a lot of form there going for that. Now, it's an interesting choice to put him in here. It's a Class 5 race, so we're not dealing with the best horses in the world. He's been one of those horses that bounces in and around in those Class 4, Class 5 races. So I think he fits really nicely here. Number 12, Freddie Robinson is going to be my next choice. Another one who's been going over the hurdles. He's got 4 of those. His best finish was a second. But he's been a little better on the flats, even though he only has 1 win. But he does like to place. From 15 starts, he's done it 7 times. I don't know. The last one, he just didn't really run. And maybe going back to the flats will be the way he could go. And will this horse win? Nope. Will it finish the money? It's got a chance.
The quintessential Tom horse, by definition.
We'll finish up with number 7, Aim for the Moon, my final choice. He's got a run already this season at Kempton on the all-weather. Finished second. It was a good race. He ran in December before and came in 3rd. So he's got a little bit of form. Interestingly, his only win is on the flats. They've been sending him over the other things and not so much. He only had 5 starts in the flats. And then in terms of the turf and all weather, a little more. Based on his current form, I couldn't really leave him off. I mean, he's not not the most experienced horse in the field, but certainly has done well enough. And he's an 8-year-old, so why not?
He'll be at least mature. I'm going to start with number 17, the rail horse, Life on the Rocks. That one, Thomas, running the right distance, absolutely 1,000% for sure for this guy. 11 races, 5 of them in the winner's enclosure, 4 of them in the 3rd place position. Put that horse at 22 times at any other length. 1 win, 2 seconds, 4 thirds. A horse for the distance at this course. I agree with you, Tom, with Aim for the Moon. Just looking at it and comparing it, you mentioned all the other horses in this race not being the best group, but when you look at this group, I don't think there's any question this is the most consistent horse in the group, and he tends to run his best when he has some rest. So most consistent, poised to put his best effort forward. It's one of those horses that it may not win, but you're going to have to run a honest effort to beat it. Bulldog Spirit, the one horse, but he is the 19th post position. He's going to be that one that gets caught 19 wide all around. There you go.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a concern for me.
Yeah, well, that one anyway, the only time he ran at Doncaster, he won, so maybe he is not so concerned with that outside post. His last race was his first race at 25. It was a very sharp effort on all weather. Let's see if he can take that and transfer it over to the turf from the outside post. And then finally, number 11, Mario Ento. That one, Thomas, going to try turf for the first time in 7 career starts. There's no question that the horse is in form right now. I don't know if he'll carry that form over the turf or not, but if he does, then he's probably the best horse in the race. But a lot of things still have to go your way with so many horses in the field. Let's see if for once the predictor agrees with me.
Yes, you can. I'm on a podcast, so I need to get off. But yes, you can come early.
Annexation. Tom, another horse that neither one of us has. Destinito, Bizarre Law, Book of Life. Hey, that's showing up. Kala Kapoor, and then Quick Away. So we have one horse, the Book of Life, and everybody else. To hell with you.
Yeah, we should point out you can look at the apprentices' records by clicking on the name and see how they've done.
So, yeah, if we go back over here, this is all Racing Post information, pretty basic stuff that you can get on the internet. So if you click on the jockey's name, Ethan Jones, voila, Ethan has, let's see, well, he doesn't have a whole lot going on there. 25 races in his life, 25 wins. That's not a bad win percent.
Yeah, this is for 5 years. If you click on the little down arrow up on there, you can go for this season.
Current flats. He has 1 win in 17 races. Hot, Thomas. Smoking hot for Bulldog Spirit. Yeah, well, maybe he's going to get a second one from that 19th position. Great idea. And then take him on a surface.
Well, you can do that with the jockeys. You can also do it with the trainers. The trainers' stats are there too. That maybe can help you out.
They're not apprentices, however.
Well,
let's see what this guy's doing.
Current season, and of course, they have different.
Wow, these two are just making a dynamic duo, Brian Ellison and Ethan Jones.
Yeah, 6%.
And they're only 7-1. Holy smokes, Batman. They probably should be 70-1 with that combination. In any case, Tom, I know the combination that we're going to do next week is going to be the Grand National and the Dubai World Cup. Of course, just a gentle reminder that tomorrow, huge day of racing in the United States, Arkansas, Florida Derby. All of that information is up and available already at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Link in the description. Go get it so that you're prepared to cash some nice tickets, because if you're not watching, you ain't winning. That's for damn sure. And then, of course, we'll be back next week, Terry and I, Monday, Tuesday, for everybody's favorite Parks, Wednesday and Thursday, probably Gulfstream, but that might change now with the Florida Derby out of the way, because I think the Florida Derby is very close to the finish line for the championship meet. And then we'll probably go off to places like Keeneland and other top-tier tracks.
Yeah, Keeneland will be operating.
Keeneland and Churchill should start pretty soon, too. Well, Churchill starts for the weekend of the Derby.
Keeneland first. That's the the spring meet. So,
the next wagering guide for us will be the Toyota Bluegrass, although nobody wins the Toyota Bluegrass, then goes on to win the.
Not in a long time.
So why would you even enter a horse in that race? Just to get in.
Like the Wood Memorial is the same way. I mean, that's just become kind of why?
Just a party place, man. They want to go to New York, go eat the food, and go to the shows. They're not interested in winning the Kentucky Derby. All right, Thomas, any final thoughts from you before we get up and get out of here and actually get ready for the Grand National and the Dubai World Cup?
If you get up and watch these races, pay attention to the earlier, especially down the straight, earlier races. See if there is a distinct bias. There could be. And with that, you may want to adjust your betting accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And the apprentice races, good luck.
Yeah, well, anyone that has 22 horses in it, good luck with that, no matter what race, where it's at. If you haven't done so already, kindly hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and then when the races are over, come back and let us know what you think in the comment section on YouTube. And maybe if you have some selections for these deep fields or any of the important races on the weekend, be a part of the community. Put your thoughts and picks and comments and suggestions in the comment section on YouTube. Share our content no matter where you're watching and help us get to 10,000 subscribers, both on YouTube and X, by the end of 2025. It's an ambitious goal, I know, but with your help, no doubt it can be done. All right, Thomas, that wraps it up for this week. So no matter what you're doing,
spread the word.
Go ahead.
I said spread the word.
Yes, indeed. Just take the megaphone, open up the window on Fridays, and just let the neighborhood know. Tom and Rich, the best show of comedy horse racing show on the planet. All right. No matter what you're doing for the rest.
And sometimes it is.
Yes, it is indeed. No matter what you're doing for the rest of this weekend, folks, have God's grace, God's favor, and may everything end up in
the winner's enclosure.
And until next time, have a blessed day.